We're back at Down to Business. I'm here with OB Jacobi of Windermere Realty. Now, OB, we went through a lot of different things. You told us about how your dad founded the company, what your role you and your sister play in the company, and kind of how Windermere has built its brand over the last 40 or so years. I mean, it's been a really heritage brand here in the Northwest for a long time. What we did here at Down to Business, we took some of the things you guys are doing at a marketing perspective, and again, it's a little bit of a challenge because we have your local marketing office, we can talk to those guys, the individual agents, but as you guys as a whole, we kind of just did some audits around things you were doing and just sat around and brainstormed some ideas for you.
Cool.
So the first thing is looking at the charity pieces. You've worked with a lot of different charities. You listed a bunch last time, and you said floundered around, but you did help a lot of those organizations, whether it's monetarily or volunteerism. So we'd love to talk about doing a campaign with you guys of talking about that 12-year-old kid you might have helped 10 years ago and thanking you today. Taking all that hard work, all that volunteerism, all those dollars, and talking about how they manifest themselves in the community.
Yeah, that's cool.
Again, your agents are those local hubs, and so having those charities, having the lives you've affected come back and tell that story only makes it more concrete. I think after the Katrina effect, a lot of us became a little bit cautious of where we were giving our money, and a lot of corporations now have caught on to this cause marketing thing, and everyone's doing something, if you will. Yeah. But it's whenever you see the story manifest itself into real life stories that are happening in the streets, neighborhoods, and blocks where you own your home, own your condo, own your business. And that's a great way of bringing back and saying that these dollars are really going to real kids and real people that are really being affected. They're your neighbors.
Totally. I love it.
So we'd love to talk about kind of just humanizing that giving part. It's not to trumpet from the mountaintops, but it's to talk about it, that it's real and the impact it's having.
Oh, that'd be great.
The next thing we'd love to do is that a lot of house listings today are a lot the same. A lot of pictures, brief descriptions. It's always interesting the wordplay that's put into house description. But we've also seen this whole trend with HGTV, the House Hunters, and all these television shows that have come about that have brought video to a television or to a house listing. And it'd be really interesting to think about the house as an entity, as the history that it's played, and building it out almost like it's a human being or a person in a story.
Yeah.
So bringing out the bio, so this was the house of so-and-so, and they raised 4 children in it, and these are the memories they had, and this is the block, and this is the area. And so really building out more of the storytelling piece. Everyone loves a good story, everyone loves pictures, and everyone loves video. And so melding those things together to be more of a story and telling about where that house has come from and what it's meant to other people. I think that will help new home buyers, first-time home buyers, or people that are moving up to kind of understand where they're moving into and what the potential can be, because we all buy houses with great hopes and ambitions of what's next in that whole deal.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think you're right for sure on neighborhood stuff. People want to know what kind of neighborhood they're moving into for sure, and they love the stories about neighborhoods and all those. I'd be curious if buyers, whether online or how they get those stories, are willing to sit through a video of them.
Yeah.
You know, if they see the pictures and they go, oh, that intrigues me, then yeah, they probably would.
Yep.
So and load times and speed and all that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, and you have some diverse markets because you are in 10 states. You have some markets that have much greater bandwidth for video feeding, or you have it in pictures. And it's kind of an interesting concept of just, it's not your average house listing anymore.
Totally.
It has a story to it. The next thing is community videos, having realtors tell us more about the neighborhoods. We find that you guys are the local experts, but whenever I come into a neighborhood or I start to look for an office, having even the neighborhoods themselves start to become a focal point for you guys. From your website, I know I can drill down and I can find homes in the listing, but also really highlighting what's happening in that neighborhood and using those agents that are those community spokespeople to really tell you about the community a little bit more.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I think that, yeah, from the house bio to this, I think that really makes a lot of sense. So everything from the great restaurants that you had down to things about, you know, the schools to farmers markets, all those things that make a buying decision long term for somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next thing, though, the next thing would be a TV sponsorship of an HD TV or a House Hunters. We think that your brand is preeminent enough, that people know it well enough. You guys have listings for all different types of people, but as this voyeurism is taken off online and more people are watching these shows, aligning yourself around it, whether it's the properties themselves that you align with the television show or actual sponsorship, could be an interesting piece. Women drive a lot of these decisions sometimes. We know there's a high women demographic there. You can really target those sponsorships in. And those sponsorships, you'll know that people are looking for different things because oftentimes they hit a higher income. So it might be an interesting way of tying those things together. And with your foundation work, there could be some very interesting messaging tied around that sponsorship long term.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to look at.
So final idea for you would actually be that you have people that are moving. You're within 10 states. As you build a social networking presence, whether it's from a local office or a corporation or a foundation standpoint, it'd be really interesting to start sharing between your members. So I'm moving from here to San Francisco, but I know very little about what happens, say, around the 4th of July, which is coming up. Where do I go? What do I do? These are my 5 favorite restaurants here in Seattle. What do they look like down there? And so building some type of web-based app that allows your users to start to say, if they're moving to similar neighborhoods, exchanging recommendations, ideas, things to do, and really taking the Windermere name and building a community around that of people that are moving and getting recommendations around other pieces. It can be done pretty inexpensively, but it allows your users to kind of connect on a different level. It can also go back into that house bio piece, because you might actually have people that are moving from one market to another that are buying each other's homes. So it could be a really interesting component of building the community out for new people to an area.
I love it. That one's cool. Very cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Obi. Thank you to Obi and the entire Windermere team for their time. For Down to Business, I'm Josh Dirks. Thanks so much for watching.